There's an opportunity here for us to emerge as the most talked about profession out in the world.
The companies who create the most trust right now amongst field leaders, they will be the ones who win.
Continue to do the things that you are good at doing, and then trust the field to do the things that they are good at doing. And when we do that, we will do great things together.
Welcome to Shift, an exclusive podcast by DSN. I'm your host, Blake Mallen, and this is where high-performing entrepreneurs and experts share their most powerful shifts in mindset, skill set, and strategy to help you accelerate your business and amplify your impact. I challenge you to be present, open your mind, and let the shift begin. Welcome to Shift. I'm your host, Blake Mallen, and this week we are going to take you behind the scenes at our recent Direct Selling University event. Now, this is an event that takes place 2 times a year, put on by DSN Direct Selling News, where all of the main executives from hundreds of direct selling companies across the world all come together in person in one room to really talk about what we need to do as an executive community, as companies, as owners, as brands, to elevate the direct selling channel across the world. Now, generally, these are private events where executives or owners or management of certain companies are invited into a closed door room to really get candid information, facts, figures, strategies, ideas, collaboration, conversation on where our channel is, where we are going, and how we can all grow and improve and become better together. Now, this last DSU, something historic happened. For the first time in 20 years, we were able to have field leadership on the stage, sharing a perspective on behalf of all of you, our distributor audience all around the world, in our Shift panel. So I was very honored to take the stage and actually share a lot of the insights that we've been getting together over the last year from so many of our guests, really bridging what we, the distributor community across the world, are feeling today, what we're seeing today, what we need today. And then actually invited 3 of our previous guests from right here on the show to be there with me in person and share their perspective and share their vision. And most importantly, really share their heart and their love and their passion for this channel, and really speak on behalf of distributor communities all around the world for what we need in order to align, in order to come together, in order to close the gap, and in order to continue to evolve and elevate our amazing industry across the world. So with that, let's go behind the scenes to this Shift section and a very special guest panel at our recent Direct Selling University event. Here we go.
Here's what 19-year-old Blake is most excited about. Only thing I wish when I was 19, 20 years old, running around talking about saving people money on long-distance phone bills and people thought I was crazy, was that they actually saw what I saw, felt what I felt, and that it was cool. Today, what we do is cool for the very first time. Gig economy, normal. Multiple income streams, normal. 10 years ago, people were concerned about you. Remote work today, preferred. Creator economy, whole world shares everything with their communities and social networks. That is the future. Social media and tech, we hit on hardcore last night of what it's going to do to increase this. Community value, normal. What we do today is more normal than ever before. True or false? Guys, this is our opportunity. And yes, we have to adapt, and yes, we have to shift, and yes, we can't get away from the foundation that built us here. We've heard this from everybody out here. Without vision, people perish. We got to get back to vision. We got to get back to trust. We got to get back to building people, relationships, doubling down on what makes us while evolving. So for those of you guys that are wondering why shift, why did DSN make this step a year ago? Why have I spent the last year interviewing? I can't believe it's been 27 leaders from 27 different companies. It's purely out of passion for the industry, curiosity, and really a deep desire to find what the heck is the solution of where we go from here. Thank you for those of you guys that have supported. If you haven't followed the show, there's a whole wealth of knowledge out there. If you want to get someone from your company spotlighted, just let me know directly or DSN. We're looking for people that really align with these values from the field to help us find a solution. And I get the privilege to introduce you to three of them right now, who I met on the show for the very first time, was super impressed with who they were, to have a candid conversation to help bridge the perspective of what's happening in our communities around the world. This will be super interesting. Before I welcome to the stage, quick acknowledgement, guys. Sarah Robbins joined her first company in direct selling almost 20 years ago. First company, only company, went on to build what was 99.9% of that company in her organization. At the peak was doing $2 billion a year through her organization. Even to the very end was still over $1 billion a year, right? And has navigated everything that we've been talking about. You have Donna Johnson, 47 years in the channel, 2 companies. Thomas Tidlund, 26 years in the industry, building internationally and abroad. These two are married, met in the industry, although independent top leaders and earners from totally separate companies. It's possible. Cumulatively, guys, they're almost 100 years of experience, and they represent what I think is our channel and the people we're leading. So please do me a favor and just stand up. First time ever to a DSU stage from the field. Welcome to stage, guys. Sarah Robbins, Thomas Tidlund, and Donna Johnson. You guys can do better than that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the elephant in the room and maybe a grenade.
Wonder who that could be. Yeah.
So take us to the moment.
Yeah. July 15th.
You found out, and what went through your mind, the perspective, and anything now that you've had a little bit to process you want to share with a room full of companies in the channel.
Okay, so July 15th. We had just been on a company trip prior. People say you must have known. I thought, how would I have known? In fact, on that trip, I had asked the question, would we ever go affiliate? Because we'd heard Beauty Counter, Saint, and the response I got back was, we believe affiliate is fool's gold. And our CEO was not on the trip, had a family emergency. Facebook was gone, text messages were going green. I was like, what is happening? And we got a call just a little bit later that we needed to be on an all-leader call, and the news was delivered that to the top 10%, the leaders who had built and invested nearly 2 decades, that we didn't need to worry because it only affected the top 10%, but the top 10% were on the call. And that is how we found the news. I know, sadly, most of our corporate team found out the same time that we did. And that was that. The hard part is, and this is the part that if I could deliver one message today, it was really this confidence and this certainty that 90% of people were going to benefit. Well, our business is made up of a bunch of middle-aged women. They didn't join our business to share affiliate links with friends on social media. And so now their community was gone, their team were gone, the leaders, the training. And so it led the majority of the field to look for other opportunity to stay in community. And the second byproduct of what it created, and this is what I think is the most unfortunate for the industry, the phone calls that I received from countless leaders, and these are mega leaders and iconic companies. Probably many of you are sitting in the room where your top leaders reached out to me and said, well, if Rodan and Fields did this, what would keep my company from doing this? And we are in a massive place where we've created an environment of distrust.
So let's go deeper there. Thank you for that. I think this is the first time you're actually able to talk about this publicly.
Yes.
This is the first, so thank you for having the courage to just get up here in front of a bunch of new friends and share.
Sure.
Donna, you and I have had deep conversations on the word Sarah just said, trust. Thank you for coming in early and sitting in the room and absorbing all of this. Donna also leads the ethics committee for one of the largest associations in the channel, which is a community of distributors as well, so she's passionate. What does that word mean to you, and how do we get there together?
Well, first of all, thank you and Stuart for this incredible event. Being in the field for 47 years, Richard and I think, has anyone been in longer than 47 years? Maybe. We've heard a lot about this event, and to be able to sit on the inside and hear all of you talk about collaboration just really warmed our heart. And I would love to see more collaboration between the field and corporate as well. So thank you, Blake, for opening that. But trust, I mean, you just heard what happened to Sarah. I mean, can you even imagine? You know, and I don't know if you can. I know Richard and I talk a lot about when we started in ODORC 100, I was a teenager. Most corporate people and owners came from the field, most, and now it's completely the opposite. And so we've just seen a real shift, and trust is so, so important. I think collaboration is the new currency. And just really, in my favorite book, I think of Esther for such a time as this. With the challenges that we have currently, we have equal and more opportunity than ever before to really get better. All of us get better in every area. The owners can get better. The corporate can get better. We can get better in the field. And I just think this is a defining time for us, a shift to get better and to rebuild that trust.
I love that. Tomas, before I ask you the question, I'm gonna answer the question they all have in their head. You guys, I'm not gonna ask them the crazy story of how they met and how they operate and how they lead two totally separate giant organizations and companies as a married couple. They told the whole thing on the podcast. So go listen to their episode. It's an amazing, inspiring, crazy story of what's possible when it comes to ethics. But I'm gonna ask you, Tomas, you obviously have a global perspective, kind of piggyback on what Donna just said. When it comes to trust, we're in a room of executive leaders. Coming from the field leadership perspective, like, what can we do to make steps in that direction? What do we do if we want to leave here and say we want to start working on trust with our communities?
Thank you, Blake. Great question. I feel that relationship comes out of two things, you know, with trust. Number one is to have that, I would say this, unfulfilled expectation is one of the worst things you can face. And you have to have that trust between the company and the field, what to expect. And people, you know, when you know what you want for people, then you likely will get the people doing what you want to have, okay? And also, when we look at a lot of talk here, which been mine, like, again, Blake, Stuart, thank you for bringing us in, but being a part of this for these full days and coming into this room to see all the great ideas and trainings, it's actually shifted in my head as well what I was going to bring up here, because I see there's a lot of concerns in the room as well to have this collaboration. And I also feel that, for example, there's a lot of companies here that have leadership councils, for example, but it's pretty much leadership like information, like the way they just give information and it, you know, a false feeling of connection. So trust your people. There are people in your companies like my wife, Donna, and like Sarah and myself. Trust those people and look for the who's instead of the how to change that.
I think what you said is super profound. I hope you guys got that. What you're hearing and what these guys represent is you can have those conversations with the right people in alignment, and you need to in the way that Tomas just described. So I love that who, then how. Sarah, anything you want to add either on that topic or also kind of shifting gears, like what is working from a field plugged in? I know you've been in the middle of chaos, but also like what's working in your mind in the community today?
Yeah, so and I will just add one thing is the power of collaboration. It is so key. I said I would have gone down with the ship, and essentially I did. And the reason being is because we had built councils, and we called the Collaboration Council, but we discussed hard topics, and it was how do we best deliver this to the field? And there was a respect that, you know, ultimately our corporate team made the final decision, but we were brought in, you know, for many of those conversations. And so again, hence the reason why, up until the very end, we truly had no idea what's working now. So again, I mentioned that it led all of us to make a shift. Thankfully, I was so thankful. So I know that building relationships take time, but time is the currency of relationship. It's the time that we spend with people, right? And that's how you build trust. We, as a field leadership team, had really leaned into leadership as well. And we have been doubling down on relationships over the past few years. That was absolutely critical for the season that we're in today, because we all said, let's not only look for an opportunity, but an opportunity where we can stay in community. We don't want to splinter. We don't want to fraction the team as much as we can. We don't want to disturb the culture that we built. So building those relationships, that's been key. The other thing is getting back to simplicity and helping people to understand it's like what is simple is what actually duplicates, and systems. And from, being in this perspective of now, we're going, okay, so, essentially we're in a place where we're not starting over, we're starting with systems, with strategy, but it's going back to, that's what actually works. And we think that we have to come up with new things all the time in order to create new growth. But a lot of times it's what we actually have to get back to that helps to grow the organization.
I love that. I agree 100%. Tomas, anything to add on that? What's working, things you're doing more of, less of today to really drive that growth you're seeing?
I think it's still the same, stick to the basic and the relationships. And when it comes to all the change that you heard of here today, that's inevitable. It's coming and it's here. It's not like next month, it's here. So we need to adopt that, but we can't let go of the core, which is the people. It's a people business. I know the AI is on the front march, but we don't have the robots yet to build a business, okay? So we have to engage with the people and do those basics. So I think that's understand the simplicity, and also understand this, that I'm not a big fan of carrots or a stick, because the truth is good enough. If we can stick to the business model, why people join, there's a reason why they join. And most of the people are people like you, employed people that make an active choice to start building something with the company on their part-time to have an extra income. So it's like they want choices, they want connection, they want competence. That's what they're looking for, not so much that extra bling bling. So go back to those basics.
The truth is good enough. Tomas told me that in our conversation on the podcast. I have repeated that a dozen times to people since that moment, and I'll say it again for all of us. The truth is good enough. The truth is transparency, is authenticity. That's what everybody needs right now. So thank you for that inspiration. Donna, I know you're deeply passionate about this channel. 47 years.
Well, and I want to say, being married to Thomas, we've been together 13 years. I spoke for his company in Dubai, fell in love with a Swede. But being a European-based company, I see their company being more blinders on and not paying attention to all the FTC stuff. Sometimes I feel like people are afraid of their own shadow. And so what happens in the field is we get PTSD. And we have to get back to believing in this channel, believing in each other. We need, I think revival is needed in our business. And I think if revival can be sparked again, we'll see growth all across the channel, not just the new people coming in, not just the shiny penny.
Beautiful. I love the vision. I agree. Tomas, what are you most excited about right now? We've been talking a lot about struggle, challenges, the chaos we're in, but your vision, take us into the future. What you're most excited, what's the opportunity? Where do we go from here? What do you see?
I see opportunity. I see huge opportunities, and I see market shares all over the board for people that really, really dig in and understand the market. And also, I don't know if it was Nixon or someone said, recession it's what's happening when we lose hope for a better future. And who is envisioning that future? That's all of us. So what we paint matters. So if we are in doubt, that's, not a good starting point. We have to have a posture and a confidence for what's possible. Just because there's some hurdles along the way, that's kind of life. Don't you agree? And foremost, people before profit. This is the formula, because when you start to look at the profit all the time, you lose the people. But when you're focusing on the people, I promise you, the profit will come. It's inevitable. And that's something that I see a lot of companies stepped away from doing some consulting together with my wife as well, with our perspective. So trust the process. The truth is good enough. And have that posture of confidence. I don't shy away from network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales. There's no reason for it. It's just stories that we paint in our heads. So what you believe in, that's contagious. Other people will believe in that as well.
Mm-hmm. I love the points you guys have all made. I want to just leave it open-ended for all three of you, and I'll go back to Donna. You have a significant influence of the channel in this room, right? I don't know how many companies are here, but we're all in the room, right? My question for you from any perspective on behalf of you, but also on behalf of really field leaders across the world, is there anything on your mind or your heart, any topic you would want to leave us with? We'll start with Donna, then go same question, Tomas and Sarah.
I just think let's learn from the mistakes we've made in the channel, the field mistakes, the company, the owner, the private equity, and let's together just get better and make a decision. It's kind of that stake in the ground moment. There's an opportunity here for us to emerge as the most talked about profession out in the world. And why do you think we have so many naysayers? It's because we're so amazing. So I think we just got to get our act together.
Tomas?
Yeah, if they don't talk about it, you're not existing. That's the thing. And also, it's all of you in here have an invested interest for this to fly. So treat the other companies as friends rather than competition. I think that's a good thing to see it, because there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everyone out there. And I see opportunities, like I said. So I'm very hopeful. I have great faith in this. I didn't come this far to only go this far, and I think that's something that we should carry with us as a unit as well. And also, as a company and employees, continue to do the things that you are good at doing. And then trust the field to do the things that they are good at doing. And when we do that, we will do great things together. So thank you.
I love that. Beautiful. Sarah?
So I'm so grateful for my first opportunity, which, is why I'm here today. And I'm just so thankful for this channel. You would think I'd be, in a corner eating ice cream somewhere, but I am so grateful. And it's what caused me to go, I have to go back out and do it again. We need to have that kind of belief. And here's the thing I will say for certain. The companies who create the most trust right now amongst field leaders, they will be the ones who win. Those who
Say that again.
Yes. The companies who create the most trust amongst their field leaders will be the ones who win. They're calling me, they're asking me, they're going, what happens? Should I worry? Blah, 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 blah. Build trust, lean into relationships. Next, those who double down on the business model versus try to, recreate, let's create another word for it, another term for it, which only creates more doubt. Those who double down on the business model, which is relationship building, you will absolutely win. And the last thing is, we all, as a whole, company, field leaders, et cetera, we need to come together, because a healthy profession is healthy for all of us. And we need to redefine the way that not only leaders are perceiving this, the way that, executives are perceiving leaders, but most importantly, the way that the public is perceiving this channel. And I think it's here in conversations like this.
Thank you guys for being here and sharing. I could talk to you all day. The good news is I did talk to all of you guys longer, and you can hear all of that. Go listen to their podcasts and the rest of the leaders. But thank you guys for having the courage to do what you do and sharing with us the perspective on behalf of the field. And thank you, Stuart and DSN, because you guys just experienced in 20 years the very first distributor leader panel on a DSU stage. And hopefully we can do more of bringing these together and bridging these perspectives as we all build this amazing channel together. So thank you guys. Thank all of you. Round of applause, guys, for all of them.